Welcome to another episode of The Dose, your podcast for all things GLP1, from Mounjaro to Ozempic and everything in between. So sit back, relax and enjoy the conversation with Paddy and Belinda. Remember, none of the content within this podcast should be taken as personal medical advice. Always consult your own prescriber before starting or changing any medical treatment. And a very big welcome to you. You are welcome along to another episode of The Dose. This is Paddy and...
Belinda.
How's it going? Belinda, how are things?
Good, Paddy, good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm coming to you live from location. This week I'm over in the UK, in Reading, somewhere where I used to live for many years. Many years ago.
Was that where your fame and fortune started out? Am I correct in saying that?
This is where some of the infamous tales of Paddy began in terms of The Biggest Loser, yeah. I was living in Reading at the time when that was filmed. We didn't film it here. We filmed it a bit further up north. But yeah, this is where I was living.
So it started in Reading. You were living in Reading before The Biggest Loser. And did you apply then? So you applied for the programme?
We had seen that they were looking for people, myself and my housemate, who was also my workmate at the time. And we'd kind of said it jokingly, we could go for that. Whilst we were sitting there eating our pizzas, you know, watching the American version, thinking, sure, look, it could be worse. We're not that fat. Like, seriously. And like that is the truth. We're like, it hasn't got that it hasn't got that bad. And then you sit there and look at yourself and you're like, all right, yeah, actually, maybe pot kettle fat. So
I think the word is black.
Yeah,
no, it's fat.
Yeah. So I didn't think anything more of it, but it was my housemate Will put in the application at the time then. So it wasn't me. I didn't realise that he had done it until...
I thought I heard you saying that. I don't know how I would have felt about that. Actually, I would have ran a mile, I'd say.
Yeah. I wasn't sure. And then a few weeks later, they got in touch like, hey, let's have a chat. But anyway, yeah.
But you had big chats, didn't you, to actually get on there?
Yeah. Like the initial application, I think, kicked off in May, I think it was. Like the online application, and then all the other bits and pieces took place over the summer, and we didn't start filming until middle of September.
Yeah, but when you say little bits and pieces, were they like a series of grueling interviews?
Yeah, they were, yeah.
Yeah, they weren't just bits and pieces.
It was like an hour or more on the phone screen, and then like a full day in London for camera screening, and then a full day in London for physical and psychological evaluation. I don't know how we got by that.
Yes.
Yeah. And then waiting to hear after that. So yeah, there was a fair amount of work went into it.
Yeah, and do you think that those kind of programs would have done any kind of background checks or asked for references of people? Because, Paddy, like, there could be people going on to programs like that affiliated with groups that may not necessarily be great to be associated with, you know?
I would say that TV show knew more about me than I knew about myself when it came to filming. Like, the amount of stuff we had to submit and confirm and all that. And like, I still have all the emails in my Gmail. And every now and again, maybe once or twice a year, I kind of just delve in and like pick one random to look, and I'm like, oh yeah, like the other day, I was searching for something and I found emails about the holiday to Abu Dhabi that I won on it, and I was like, oh god, yeah, I remember that. And
you won a holiday to Abu Dhabi on it?
Yeah, because the way that it ended up was, it was Will, my housemate, who was the winner, and I was the runner-up. So we actually won the two main prizes. Yeah.
Right. So did you go with him and he went with you?
Yes. So we had agreed going into it that if any of us won anything, that we would split it.
Jesus. So, right. That's amazing.
So like, Will won 25,000 sterling, of which the agreement was the winner would give some to the other person if either of us won. So Will give me 10,000 of that. And then obviously I won the holiday to Abu Dhabi. So yeah, I brought Will on that.
You brought Will?
Yeah.
That's amazing, Paddy.
Yeah, so like we literally...
It's been some experience.
Oh, God.
Did you go over to Abu Dhabi and blow it? All the money?
So when did the money was well blown before that, because the way it kind of worked, this isn't meant to be the content of this at all.
I know, but I'm really curious.
But yeah,
we're not supposed to be talking about this.
No, we're not. But anyway, so the way it worked was the money came through pretty quick after the final. They rang Will to get his bank details and all that, and sent over. So when I got the money, I literally went to PC World and bought
Top of the
a MacBook or an iPad, iPhone, like literally just was like blow it. I paid for my personal trainer qualification in full, and then I went and spent about maybe 1,000 on clothes. So
you didn't blow it. That's not what you call blowing it. All those things.
There was definitely, I would see a good bit of that as an investment. Like that MacBook, even though it's 12, 13 years old or whatever, like still works and can still be used. You know what I mean? The clothes are somewhere in my parents' house, because when I started putting my weight back on, I wouldn't let anybody touch them. So I was like, no. They're there, so they're somewhere. That I'm hoping.
Oh, you could use those now.
That's the idea, because I always had in my head that I'll be able to wear those again. You know, so I do. Just
took a little while.
Took a few detours along the way. God, a 9.5 stone detour.
Sure, look, it was a journey. You got there in the end.
Yeah. But no, the tech at the time was definitely, and like that's where I started getting into social media a little bit, because I remember the night of the final of The Biggest Loser, when it was airing, I was trending on Twitter, which was mental.
What?
And then I had a load of TV work.
Even you saying that is giving me anxiety. I have like second-hand anxiety for you.
Yeah, it was mad. Like, now we had like a PR company and like the production company, all that were there to kind of guide us and lean on for anything that we needed support within that regard, and like from a media perspective. So they were definitely a help for anything if ever we felt overwhelmed or anything like that. But
you loved it.
Yeah, like I mean, I had studied radio media in college. I had worked in radio for a while, so I was relatively comfortable with that side of things. With like being around microphones. Will lapped it up. He just lapped it up. Yeah, he was grand.
Good.
Like,
Good.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah, I do always think like that was before social media was really like the world of content creators and all that kind of stuff. And I do always think if it had been even like 5 or 6 years later, that like the wave off the back of it
now.
could have been very, like when you see the way some people do from social media now on the back of reality TV and that, like I do think it could have been very different.
Look at it now. Like, look at all these Molly Mays and coming out of and living their best life. You know,
I could have tried to be going to the jungle or something. You know,
yeah, you would be awesome in the jungle. How do you put that in your mouth? You'd be grand.
Here, no, I'm very fussy, Belinda.
Are you?
Yeah, very fussy. Yeah, it's not just any ant or cockroach or frog that I let hop in. So, yeah.
Glad to hear it, Paddy.
Even though there would be high protein, I guess.
Yeah, they are, apparently. Yeah, all those shrub worms. Is that what they're called? No, anyway.
I couldn't do that.
No way.
So, Belinda, we have touched a few times on the podcast, on some of our lives and stuff like that, about the fact that you have been experiencing a bit of a stall with your weight loss.
Quite a long stall.
How long? 6 months?
May.
Okay. So the last
July, August, September, October, November. So 6 months actually.
Okay. So the last kind of main, anyway, significant weight loss that you would have seen would have been like April, May time.
It probably actually, you know what? I think it might have been around March.
Okay.
Paddy.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and I was on Ozempic.
Yeah.
Then, and I would have gone up to, I had stalled, and then I went up to 1.5 milligrams of the Ozempic. So I was purchasing 2 pens. I know.
The cost.
And
yeah,
the cost was unbelievable. But there was no way I would have given up everything that I was doing just to be able to stay on this path.
Yeah.
And I was doing that, and I was stalled, and I was dealing with my dietitian at the time, and my health coach at the time, and my doctor, and eventually, I went onto Mounjaro. Now, in saying that, I up until 2 weeks ago, I'd only lost a couple of pounds on Mounjaro, and I've been
So
on Mounjaro for 4 weeks on 5, 4 weeks on 7.5, and then 3 weeks in on this. I think 3 weeks in on this. Yeah, Sunday night would be my third week, so that's for 11 weeks.
Yeah. So talk me through. Okay, so say March, and then you had the next couple of months after that. So when you were still on Ozempic and you were doing the things similar-ish to maybe what you had done before, or maybe you hadn't, maybe we'll touch on that. Either way, how did that feel during the summer in particular, whereby the scales weren't necessarily, say, going up, but equally weren't going down?
I wasn't really that bothered at that time because I had come so far, and I was nearly up to the 5 stone. It was the summer. I was nearly 5 stone lighter than I was the previous summer. So all of that was all really new. And I was living my best life, like, you know. I was able to go swimming with the kids. I was able to run around more with them and stuff. And then when the summer was over, and even just towards the end of it, I was thinking to myself, like, Belinda, something has to change now because you're investing so much into this. I'm investing so much in my Instagram. I'm investing so much financially, and, you know, I want to build my brand and everything. So I really need to sort this out. And then myself and yourself met, and we did start the podcast. And it was only then when I started speaking to you about it, and because of your background in health and fitness and all of that as well, I thought to myself, I really do need to do something about it.
So, like, was there ever a point where you were like, okay, I'm spending, I don't know, say the guts €200 or more, or whatever, give or take 50 or 100.
Yep. €50 a week. €50 a week at that time.
Okay.
I was flogging into it and
not seeing
nothing.
anything.
Yeah.
And like, some people would think that's very tough, because
it was tough.
Like, and I think, you know, we're probably in a space now where we, although it can be tough, we get the bigger picture of, like, do you know?
Yeah.
But I see so many people that are in, particularly their early few weeks, where they're like, oh, I'm spending, like, you know, €200 or 100 and whatever, £50 or whatever, and I'm not seeing results. Like, this isn't going to be sustainable for me. And it's like, there's such a mindset shift that's needed there.
Yeah, but the thing is as well, Paddy, that you can't just take Mounjaro or Ozempic and expect the weight to just fall off you. That's not how it works. This is, and I know I keep saying it and everybody is saying it now, it is literally just a tool, but we'll go into that in a minute. But I will say as well, when I did have my stall and I spoke to the professionals about it, and I spoke to my endocrinologist, and I was told that I wasn't going to lose any weight and that I would need to go and have surgery. Gastric surgery, gastric bypass.
And I think, like, when people are on a weight loss journey, there will come a time whereby your body will be like, done my thing. I've reached that point now. And I guess it's about, maybe some of the conversations we had at that point was, okay, are we just going to accept for Belinda, that's it now? You know, this is the weight that you are destined to be? Or is there other things that could be maybe looked at to help to see, is there any more pounds or whatever that could be shifted for you?
Yeah, and that's where you came in then.
Yeah.
And, you know, I wasn't accepting that. There was no way I was accepting that because I am still obese. Even after losing what I've lost now up to today, I'm still obese. I still have a very long life ahead of me.
And remind me, what is the lightest weight you have been in your adult life?
Jesus. I suppose going back to 1997, Paddy.
Okay.
My weight, I had been larger, much larger before that, but then it kind of trickled down, and then I left Ireland and I was probably a size 6, 14 to 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the weight that you
in 1997.
So the weight that you are now.
Yeah.
When's the last time you were this weight? before?
Probably back then.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
before then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So this weight I am now, I am a pound lighter now than I was when I done keto in
Okay.
2018.
Okay. So this like
This
is
marks the lightest I've been since 1997. That
wow.
1 pound that took me over. Yeah.
Wow, Belinda.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
so
So I
like
can't ever remember being like this.
so literally you are the lightest that you have been in 25-ish years. Is that right? 20
Yeah.
more, 27.
27
27
years.
years.
Yeah. 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 I'm gonna start crying now. I would never have thought of it like that. Ever. Yeah. So it's
But
27 years,
so it's
three decades
27 years since you were last this weight.
this weight. Yeah.
And have you given yourself space to
Nope. Nope.
think how proud you should be of yourself of that?
Not really. I haven't thought of it like that. Like you talking to me now, I don't have these conversations. I don't think about it. I
Why
just
not?
get up every day and
Why do you not think about it?
I don't have time.
Yeah.
I honestly don't, you know.
Like the reason that I'm asking is because one of the things that I guess I'm learning a bit on the journey is the importance of taking those moments to actually reflect and saying, do you know what, Paddy?
Yeah.
You're doing this, and you should be actually proud of yourself, and not in a sense of being full of yourself, but and those are conversations I have with myself, you know, as opposed to like walking down a Collins Street and it's like, ooh, well done, Paddy. Do you know?
Yeah.
And there are times when I absolutely feel emotional about that, like
Yeah.
when I was getting the bus from Heathrow to Reading, I started thinking about it because somebody had asked me that day how much weight had I lost in total, and I had said, 5.5 stone. And the more I thought about that and started looking at pictures then of me from earlier this year, I was like, oh my God, what, like this is massive. Like this is, I need to sit with this and actually acknowledge the journey this year so far and the effort as well.
Huge effort. Huge.
And likewise for you, like to be able to say this is,
Yeah.
we rounded up because like the last podcast that you did, your solo one, was about how you had lived with essentially diet culture for 30 years.
Mm.
So equally, I think whilst we're recognizing that, it's so important to recognize that all those efforts and attempts that have led you to where you are today, to being the lightest weight you have ever been in 27 years, and how momentous that is for you.
It is momentous, but I think more so, like, obviously because I haven't thought about this since only now just talking to you, but I don't know. It's I feel sad because it fucking obesity, the disease of obesity took so much from me, Paddy. Took so much from me in my life, and I've just come out the other side of it, and it's only been 2 years, and I know it's 2 years, but this is still very new.
Yeah.
Like it's so new. I know you have been there before with that extreme weight loss.
Yeah.
But how many years ago was that?
So the last time I was this way, so the lightest I'd ever been in my life, bar when I was a child, was
2 days after you're born.
Yeah, literally, was 14.5 stone, and that was in February 2011.
Okay.
Which was the
13.
the day that we filmed the final of The Biggest Loser. That was the lightest I'd ever been.
Wow.
Yeah.
In your adult life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and you said in one of our previous podcasts that from the day that you came out of that show,
I can remember distinctly going over to Leicester Square after the morning after we filmed, and just thinking, oh my God, I can't wait to get burger and chips. And I don't know, did we go to like TGI Fridays or when somewhere like that? And I remember just getting the menu and thinking, the pressure is off now somewhat in terms of I'm now not being weighed for a TV show.
Yeah. And as well, the thing is as well, how long were you in there? How long had you not eaten any of that kind of, comfort, nice food?
Yeah, I mean, even during it, I still had the odd Chinese, which some people might find mental when you're on a weight loss show. But I had 7 weeks, I had the full duration, 7.5 weeks in the house, Big Brother style, and then 15 weeks at home. So during that 15 weeks at home, it was predominantly, I will say, it was predominantly diet approach in your stereotypical diet mindset, as opposed to a health mindset and a health and nutrition mindset, and that's a difference, which is what I think I'm in now.
That's what I'm in now.
Exactly. I feel I'm more in a health and nutrition mindset now as opposed to a diet mindset.
And look, we're older though and wiser, Paddy, and we're looking at longevity now, aren't we?
Absolutely.
And we're future-proofing our bodies and our minds.
But it is something I always say to people online when I see them talking about dieting, whilst they're on Mounjaro or Ozempic, Wegovy, whatever, I'd be like, this isn't a diet. This is a medical treatment. And you need to make sure that you're nourishing your body enough with the foods and the nutrients and the hydration that it needs, as opposed to trying to keep yourself energized and feeling good and sleeping good and, all this kind of stuff. And to try and keep off the side effects as much as you can, as opposed to looking at it, oh, I'm taking this medication and I need to starve myself.
I can eat nothing now.
Yeah, because that's not the intent. That's not the intent. So, okay, bringing it back. It's the first time, this is the lightest you've been, again, let's just recap, in 27 years.
And I can't get too excited about it because the 27 years previous are still dragging behind me. They're still knocking on the door, those years. And again, this is so new. It's so new.
But you know what it's like? It's like having a bad ex that you're trying to get over and just deal with the new relationship.
It keeps annoying me.
Yeah.
It just won't leave me alone.
Maybe that's what we refer to as my
ex.
Yeah, my weight ex or my ex weight.
Yeah,
my ex weight. My ex weight. Oh my God, that is good. That could be okay.
My ex weight.
My ex weight.
I love that.
But
so I think, I don't know. I just think to myself now as well, when will be the time that I will relax and think, okay, you have this now, Belinda, you've got this, like, this is okay. That program that I was on the other morning, one of the presenters asked me, and how do you feel when you come off this drug, that the switch that Mounjaro switched off is going to be switched back on again? And to their dismay and the other guests' dismay, I was blatant and said, I have absolutely no intentions of coming off this drug. I will sacrifice anything I need to.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the ones that, so first of all, context there, what Belinda is referencing is that earlier this week or over the weekend, Belinda was on Sunday morning was on one of the UK breakfast shows on GB News. Yeah. Who unsurprisingly may have an acquired taste to some of their opinions on things, we shall say. And you were on with...
I had known.
Yeah, you were on with... But no, I think it's good because you were advocating. That's what we do now. But you were on with Steve Miller, isn't that his name? That did...
Steve Miller, yeah.
Was it like...
He follows me now.
Yeah, was it... Yeah, looking for tips probably. He did... Was it like Fat Families or some of those kind of...
That's right.
Yes, the TV show. Which we've said this offline, but I find it mental. So he's a qualified hypnotist. He's not...
Oh, is that what he is?
Yeah, he's a hypnotist.
Oh, I thought he was a nutritionist.
No.
And he knew all about this.
No. He's a hypnotist. No. So if you go onto his website,
does he hypnotize people into being thin? Is that what he does?
That is pretty much what he tries to do. And if you go on, he has a new product that he is now hopping on the bandwagon of, like the hypnotic jab. Yeah. So he's essentially mimicking that you can be hypnotized
into having the effects of Ozempic or Mounjaro just from hypnotism.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
So
yeah.
Well done, Steve, if you're listening. That solves everything.
He will listen. Hi, Steve.
Yeah, do you know what? He's one of the people I would love to sit down with them in a room
and have a chat.
And I would, because I do love people that have very strong opinions different to me.
And
as
my
well.
God, he did have strong opinions. I wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah.
I really wasn't.
Are you going to try and get that up on your Instagram as a reel or something for people to see if they want to?
I think I will. I tried it to do it from my computer, and you told me how to upload it and stuff, but all I could see was the two presenters in the middle.
Okay.
You couldn't see Steve or myself.
I mean, like, I know I don't normally help in to give you tech support, but look, we'll get it up.
I'm just glad I know so much about tech.
We'll get it up online somewhere.
Thank God one of us does, Paddy.
Yeah. So listeners, if you are thinking, you'd like to see that interview and how it went, we'll get it up somewhere for you, okay, on Belinda's profile. But so
Paddy will get it up.
Yeah. So take it back then to you're thinking about the stall, right? And what was it that you wanted to change, or what was your approach? Where are you now?
What was my approach then when myself and yourself?
Yeah, you
were the one that said to me, like, what's your calories like? And I said, well, I've no idea. And you just looked at me and went, hello.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of a stall. So your advice was not to track my food, as in start tracking in a new way and eating in a new way. It was to track every day just what I was eating, forget about anything new, just track exactly what you're putting in your mouth and what I had been eating for the past however many. Tracking had been always a trigger for me. Everything was a bloody trigger for me back in the day, and absolutely everything. But after coming through the health coach for 18 months, I was fine with tracking. It was just another tool for me at this point, and I did it. And it was obvious that I was eating too many calories.
Yeah. Because again, so if I put on my, say, personal trainer hat, there would be like a couple of techniques that you'd kind of look at with somebody if they're at that kind of plateau. And a plateau is perfectly normal. And that's one thing to call out. Absolutely the most normal thing in the world. And I've had them a number of times that have lasted varying, durations during my journey this year so far. I think the longest maybe has been, in fairness now, maybe 3 to 4-ish weeks, something like that. So it hasn't been dramatically
and you're
long.
really new to it as well.
But like, you can't let a stall freak you out. But I guess for yourself, where you're like 6 to 8 months, you're like, it's not. You're like, okay. The first thing I would advise, like I did to you, is we need to bring this back to basics, back to ultimate basics. Ultimately, it does still come down to your energy balance, in one way or another. So the advice that I kind of gave you at that time, that I would kind of give everyone, is you need to bring it back to basics. You need to look at, ultimately it is still going to be about, are you consuming more calories essentially than what your body needs? Are you getting the right nutrients? Are you under stress? What is your movement like? So these are all the kind of fundamentals for any kind of journey that you're on, in terms of kind of like a weight loss journey. Yeah, exactly. So that was right. Let's just look at, what's your food like?
Yeah, it was crap.
Yeah.
I wasn't still able to eat a lot. I just wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing, Paddy.
Yeah.
And I really did settle into the stall because I completely stopped weighing myself as well. Now, I didn't put up a pound.
Yeah.
I didn't put up anything. It just literally stalled. And it just goes to show that even though we are here and we are taking medication, a weight loss medication, that medication will not work unless you put in all of the work as well.
100%.
It's 100%. And it is only a tool.
Yeah.
It's a tool like tracking your calories. Mounjaro is a tool like getting your activities in.
Yeah.
Mounjaro is a tool as well as nourishing your body, getting your fiber and your protein and all of that. It's a big, huge, massive thing together. And Mounjaro has to be part of the bigger picture.
Yeah.
The same as the other things are part of the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then after that, after Paddy said, Belinda, I started tracking my calories. And I started tracking my calories on, say, the Sunday evening.
Yeah.
And I went as far as Friday morning. And I thought to myself, I'm supposed to be going out for tea now tonight. And I might have a couple of glasses of wine. So I thought, I'll jump on the scales on Friday morning.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, I dropped 6 pounds.
Wow.
6 bloody pounds. And then I went and I just did my weekend, but I tracked my calories. I didn't on the Saturday, obviously, but I didn't eat much anyway. And then Sunday I got back to it. And then Monday morning, which is my weigh-in day anyway, I had still held on to the 6 pounds.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And I think, like, the thing is, you know, when I say, again, with the personal trainer hat, would say to somebody, hey, I want you to track your calories. It's not because this is something that somebody needs to do long term. That's not sustainable. And as you say, for some people, it's a trigger. The reason why I would say, look, do it for a few days just to create awareness. And you can see, if I'm being honest with myself, is the food that I know I should be eating, is that aligned with actually what I'm seeing down? And that can be tracking just in a copybook. You know what I mean? Like writing it down. And I think a lot of people, that can be a good kind of sense of, there probably is some tweaking I can do here. Or similarly, for the movement side of things. Because some people can be like, you know what, pretty good, but I'm not really doing the movement. And again, you know, the movement will in fairness, only help with a minor side of the calorie kind of side of things and the calorie burn. But it's still an important part of the overall journey, you know, to make sure that we're not becoming complacent with things.
Yeah.
Because then we had a plan B as well, which was that if, you know, you had looked at those initial foundation things and they weren't maybe being as effective for you, we're going to look at, right, you know, when somebody has been in a calorie deficit for a long time, your body can need almost like a reset of what's your maintenance calories, and let's get you back there for a while. And that can be really scary for people, particularly if you're on a weight loss journey where they're like, you want me to eat
yeah, because it would have been a lot more than I would have been used to eating.
Yeah. I had that conversation this week with somebody on TikTok whereby they were consuming, like, I mean, drastically too little calories. And they're like, I'm not losing weight. And I was like, well, let's look at, you know, some of the other things in your life. Let's see about upping your calories, stuff like that. And literally they came back to me and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe. First of all, I'm enjoying food and I'm feeling I have so much more energy again. And my body's working for me again. It's like, so, you know, that kind of diet mindset can be hard to break though for people.
Yeah. And you know what it is as well? It's at that, like, any problem that I face in my life, Paddy, I face it head on. Yeah. I look for every single thing that I can do to fix that problem. Yeah. I could have it done in minutes, and this I couldn't get there on my own.
Yeah.
Put it that way. So thank you.
But no problem. But there will come a time for both of us.
Oh, I know.
Where we have, and there's this whole theory, folks, if you're interested, maybe we'll try and get somebody on to talk about it, about set point theory and stuff like that. So,
oh my goodness, yeah. You know, and that's where my doctor was coming from.
Yeah. Because, like, I'm curious to know, given that I have previously reached 14.5 stone, is it realistic to expect that I would be able to get to that weight again?
Yeah.
Or can your set point change? So when I asked one of my doctors about it, about the kind of set point and where I was now, what my doctor said to me was, based on the way that your body has responded so far and the weight that you have lost, I would expect that your body is going to continue to respond for you for another 6 to 9 months.
Okay, good.
So I know.
And how long will you have been on the drug then?
So at that stage, I would be coming up on a year.
Okay. Yeah. So I was just over the year.
Yeah.
When I. Yeah.
So
but you know what you'll need to do if that happens.
Yeah, you know? and like the thing is, like, look at, if I'm in a place in 6 months' time where I still need to lose weight, I'll you know.
But you might not be.
And
like,
this is the thing.
Do you even know where you want to be? What size you want to be? Or clothing? Or what's the most important? What's your destination, Paddy?
Health, first of all. That I'm healthy, and I definitely feel already like way more healthier than I've ever been. In terms of kind of like an end signal to, okay, I need to put in conscious effort for weight loss versus maintenance. I think that's probably going to come from, I'll probably use my DEXA scan that I got done to inform me, okay, what's my body fat percentage?
Oh yeah, reference.
Yeah, where are my measurements? Where is my clothes? Where is, as as much as we don't agree with BMI, it is one of the prescribing things for this medication, as we know. So, I'll check it, but it's not going to be, a deciding thing for me. But I would say, if I was pushed to pick a number, that I probably would like to be somewhere in and around
what you were.
I'd say more a range, because I think it's a healthier rather than just a set number. But if I was somewhere between like the 15 stone mark, give or take, whatever, I think that's a ballpark number that I'd probably sit with. But then, like, if there's consultations with doctors or whatever, and they're like, no, you still need to lose some weight or whatever, then fair enough. I'll see what I need to do. But I am aware, like, I'm about 6 foot, 6'1". I'm pretty broad as well, so I know that if I was to go by,
but they will be telling you that on the premise that you are looking at the BMI.
Yeah,
they're looking at the BMI chart,
which would have me at like 12.5 stone.
Oh my God!
Which I'll never be. I'll never be.
Yeah,
no, never. But then, from a clothing perspective, I do have the velvet jacket that I've mentioned in a few videos, and even before starting this journey, I've mentioned a number of times during the years that are sitting in the cupboard, that I've had, that I wore for the final of The Biggest Loser when I was 14.5 stone. Now that might fit me sooner than that weight, but that is definitely one of the main markers of success for me, is being able to wear that jacket.
Okay, and that's okay. We all have those things, don't we?
Yeah. So to recap, you went back to basics. You're still doing your Pilates, which I know you've spoke a bit about on your Instagram and stuff for that as well. So your movement there is still very active.
My walking, my aqua aerobics every week, they're non-negotiable for me, Paddy.
Yeah. And the biggest change to help break your stall has been awareness around the food, the quality of that food, nutritional intake,
the calories,
the amount of food.
Calories. Yeah, it definitely was the calories. I've always been quite aware nutritionally. Even through the stall, I would always have looked at my protein and my fiber. Never really took any notice of carbs, to be honest with you, because I got so obsessed with them when I was on the keto diet that, Jesus, it was awful. But that I try not to think too much deeply about things. But of course, I needed to pull it back a little bit, and it did, and also I would have introduced fasting as well, and I know that's a whole other podcast, and people have a lot of different opinions about it, but the reason that I introduced the fasting was because I wanted to be more focused on what I was doing. I could have my tea at 6:30 of an evening, and I could go as far as 1:30 the next day before I even thought about food. But what was happening, Paddy, was I was picking in between those hours. I was picking. I did not need to put one morsel of food in my mouth, and I was doing it anyway.
And this is where, and this is where we talk about it being a tool, and my kind of phrase that I go to is that the medication is a treatment for the biological inefficiencies in your body, but they are not a cure for any of the behaviors or the habits that we have developed. They still need work and focus. Well
said.
Even 2 years in. True. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just tells you how easy it is to lose the run of yourself.
I keep meaning to, at some stage, maybe on the podcast or on TikTok, I might do a thing about, and we won't get into too much now because I'm conscious that we're short for time now as well. But is it possible still to overeat when you're on this medication? I think it'd be a fascinating one.
Oh my God, I've had conversations about that in my subscribers group.
Yes.
And it's huge. And it's mental as well.
Yeah. So I think that we'll dig into that at some point. So
let's. We might do it on our live, actually, Paddy.
Yeah, we could do. Yeah.
And we can record it and put it out then. Yeah.
So any final words of wisdom for somebody that is out there and is thinking, I'm just on this plateau, I'm on this stall, and I just don't know what to do.
Yeah. Take the advice that I took from Paddy. If you just want to find out why, then track your calories as you are living your life.
Yeah.
track everything, no matter what you're putting in your mouth, just track it, live your life for the week. And then at the end of the week, use that literally as a form of information. That's all it is. You're just gathering information that week, and that's it. And then you'll know where to go from there.
Yeah. And if the thing you do that and you're like, do you know what? I can't see anything wrong with my food, then that could be the perfect time to be like, do you know what? I'm going to go meet with a dietitian, or I'm going to go and have a chat with my doctor because I can't figure this data out myself. And that's why I always refer to these things
and that's
as
all
data
it is,
points.
data.
Exactly.
Yeah. But then, Paddy, you know, if that had happened to me, then what were you going to tell me to do? Plan B.
So plan B was that we would have taken you back to your maintenance calories.
Calories.
For a period of time. Which as
and then go into a calorie deficit.
Yeah.
After that, So there's loads more things that we can do. Yeah, exactly.
And then at least you know either, do you know what? I have tried the things. I have,
done this. I've done that.
Exactly.
I've had a plan A, B, and C.
And if your body isn't responding, then that could be a case of, do you know what? This is my set point weight. This is, whatever.
And that's a whole other podcast as well.
Whole other podcast.
Oh my gosh.
But I feel like we should have the EastEnders kind of music. Is it EastEnders?
Oh my God. Oh, we can't use that, can we? Copyright. Can we use that? Let's use it. Just do it anyway.
Okay, Belinda, look, a pleasure as always.
And thank you so much, Paddy. And thank you so much for your help over the past couple of weeks as well. And thank you, everybody, for listening in.
No problem. I'll invoice you.
Good. Well, for all the tech support. Get away out of it.
That too. Bye.
Bye.
Remember, none of the content within this podcast should be taken as personal medical advice. Always consult your own prescriber before starting or changing any medical treatment.